Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it's time. It's season 2. We have a new map and a new mini chimera. So yeah, we thought we should do a new PvP tier list of all of the minis. So we don't have leaders right now for this video because leaders are stronger than most minis. Not all of them, but most minis. So we are not going to include leaders. But yeah, guys, I'm joined with the Arclight Battery. So if you guys don't know, I think... Do you know your ranked? What rank you finished last season?
Yeah, we were generally hovering in the top 20 players for the most part.
Okay, well, there you go. But yeah, guys, anyway, so we have a top player here that's going to help us do with this PvP tier list. Yeah, so the Arclight Battery. How are you doing? And by the way, I love your Christmas Murloc Warcraft sweater. It's that time of the season. I love it. Where'd you get it?
My buddy actually ordered it and it didn't fit him, so he just gave it to me. He's like, "Here, you can wear this," and I was so happy. It was just like a Christmas gift from him. But yeah, I'm doing okay. I just got done being sick, so kind of recovering from that. Didn't have a voice for the past couple of days, so content production was a little slow, but it's okay. I'm doing better now.
So yeah, I guess without further ado, we'll jump into the PvP tier list. Guys, we don't have any specific order that we are going to do these. We're just going to go over them. And we are going to just go with our gut feeling at first. And then at the end, we might reorganize a few things along the way. Our tiers here, we have the S tier, which is God tier. A is great. B is okay. C is bad. And D is unplayable. So I think the D tier will be easy to do. And I think the top of S tier will be easy to do. And I think the A and B tier will probably be the hardest. Do you have the same feeling?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna have some maybe disagreement or differing opinions in the A and B tier, like you said, and then D tier will probably be pretty cut and dry. And then I think we'll also pretty much agree on the God tier as well. So I think we're pretty spot on with that.
Yeah, and I'm actually very interested to see. I think we've both made tier lists for the last season, right? For minis and leaders, and like I think we've made a couple of them because of the different modifiers that keep appearing. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how different will this tier list be from last season's tier list. Because for me, I mean, we didn't get balance change. I wish we had balance change, but I really think a lot of minis were affected, but some I don't think moved that much. Yeah, I guess we'll just jump into it. Should we just start with Abomination and go down the line? They're in random order, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Where do you have, let's do maybe 1 and 1 and then the other one can commentate if he disagrees. So I'll let you go with Abomination first.
Okay. So my opinion on Abomination is C tier. I don't think he's okay. I don't think he's unplayable. He is 6 gold, and the problem with 6 gold units in this game currently is that they're a big investment, and generally they're undertuned. And so if you play your 6 gold and you make a mistake with it, you're losing more gold than you are if you were playing like a 2 gold mini and you make a mistake with it. And with that comboed with him just not doing a lot, I don't think he's very good. Now there's some builds you can play him in, things like Tyrion to heal him or Holy Nova to give him resist, but generally he's really slow and the Dragon Towers just kind of melt him right now, and there are better melee expensive units you can use like Dracosath that kind of do what you would want him to do.
Yeah, Dracosath, isn't he 5 too?
Yeah, he's 5.
Yeah, so I think, well, I mean, once again, we're not comparing leaders to minis too much, but still, yeah, you know what, I agree 100%. So I guess we'll jump into the next one, Gargoyle. I think, and then you'll give your take. I think this one's a tough one. I would go like bottom of B or top of C once again. I tried to play Gargoyle with like playing a Dark Iron Miner on the enemy gold mine, so the tower would hit the Dark Iron Miner while he mines, and the Gargoyle would hit. But I don't think it's as... Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to put it even under Abomination for the same reason of, like, he just gets destroyed by those Dragon Towers.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think there's one thing to be said. 1 second. Sorry, it's I'll just restart. Good gracious. Still recovering. My voice sucks.
You're
Okay.
good.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, I agree. I think there's something to be said for him actually doing damage to the tower if he gets there. However, I generally agree. He just gets melted by the dragon towers. I mean, Safe Pilot really gets in there. Like,
Oh yeah.
being able to crash on top of him and then just sit there blasting him, like the Safe Pilot will eventually kill him. I mean, he's tanky, but he's not that tanky, and everyone's running it. So it's just, I don't know. I've had some guildies have some success with him, but I have not lost to anyone playing Gargoyle yet this season. He does not feel amazing.
Yeah, he's really dependent to those towers for sure. And even the next set of towers, I think we know that they're elemental damage, the rocket towers, but at least they don't do more damage at the initial point than at the end. So maybe we'll see a little bit more of Gargoyle. Yeah. Do you want to go for Drake?
Sure. I think Drake is probably B tier, where I think he was A tier last season. I think that this map is just too small for him. Generally, the way that you got value out of Drake last season was playing him kind of behind your base and letting him lay eggs all across the map. That's not really an option in this map, especially with
Mm-hmm.
maybe one of the spells we're getting ready to talk about here in a little bit. He dies pretty easily to a couple things that are very meta. And Safe Pilot's still running around, so
Yeah, I'm gonna
he's just
agree.
okay.
I'm gonna agree, but I'm gonna shoot you the Chimera now, because I think you can compare the Chimera to the Drake. We have a tiny Chimera here. Do you put the Chimera under or above the Drake? How do you see the?
Oh, he's under for me for sure.
Oh yeah, like a tier
And
under.
oh yeah, he's bad.
Hmm.
And let me tell you why. Because we might as well rate him now. I
Yeah,
think
let's
he's
do it.
worse. I think he's worse than Drake because he's an extra gold, and he still dies the Safe Pilot. He also dies to Blizzard, Deep Breath. He's not like he just suffers from the same thing that Drake does, where he can, even if they don't have those spells or Safe Pilot in their deck, which they're going to. If they don't, you can still distract him with a Quillbore. It's not like the heads can attack in different directions. And generally, when people are playing him, they're using a lot of gold to invest into keeping him alive, which just I mean, he is too squishy to begin with to be doing that with, unfortunately. And the value you get from Drake is that he lays eggs all across the map and it clogs up the lane. Chimera's not doing anything passively. He has to actually be attacking something to be doing something to influence the map, and he just doesn't live long enough to do that.
Yeah, I you know what I'm gonna agree. Well, first of all, above, under Abomination, Gargoyle, because we're doing the
Oh, I
left to
think
right, guys. So
okay. I think he's probably above both of them. He's probably
yeah,
towards the top of C tier if I had to put him somewhere, but I just don't think I can put him in the same category
as Drake.
as Drake. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
hey, if you want to, I'm willing to
no,
compromise a little.
no, I do agree. It's just like I did that one list with like I told you earlier before we started recording, but I did like a Hogger Beast list, and
Mhm.
so actually Chimera gets some benefit from the fact that he's a beast, because then you can get the buff, the 30% buff from the Prowler, and you can get the heal from the Angry Chicken Army Sacrifice, and you can also
Okay.
get the buff from Hogger when he dies and he bloodlusts nearby units. But unfortunately, it's not enough. I think like that whole archetype needs to be probably a bit better
Hmm.
for like in order to see like the Chimera be better than the Drake, right? But if like there's another beast unit that would ever come out, and that would, I don't know, let's say buff, increase the health of friendly beasts, that could be useful, or the Chimera might rise up. But as the current state, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Yeah, we're gonna jump to the next one. This is our first spell we have on the list, Holy Nova. I'm gonna let you take it.
Well, I just did Drake
Chimera.
and
Okay.
Chimera, right?
All right.
So
Well, I'm gonna go with Holy Nova. I haven't played much with the Holy Nova as of yet, so well, actually, it's perfect because then you're gonna have a deep breath. So the Holy Nova spell, I'm gonna put it Probably I would go in okay as well. I think perhaps a little bit over the Drake. How do you feel about that?
I agree. It's in very specific niche decks right now, but the decks it fits into, it's very good in. So I think it's probably above Drake. I don't think it's great. It's not something you're gonna want to include in a bunch of decks, but it's something you'll want to have if you're playing things like well, Chimera support. Please don't play that. I don't think it's great, but Dracasass support, it's really good in. Thalnos, it's very good in. There are a couple other decent decks that it goes into as well.
Perfect. Should we put Deep Breath right now in S tier, or do you have?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No,
Oh,
no
it's so bad.
opposition. So you have Deep Breath, right? You're one of the
I
50
do.
people that do have that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
like it one shots pretty much everything, right? Like Drake and stuff gets
Um.
one shot.
So let me go into it, I guess, a little bit. So the reason it's God tier right now is because this map is so small that you can place it in the middle and it can still hit where your base is and it can hit where your opponent's base is. And specifically, what's egregious about it is the double dragon talent. It fires a beam in both directions from the central point, so you get two beams, and it deals double damage to the things that are caught in the middle. So it, I mean, Huntress has resistance. If you catch it in the middle, it kills her. It
Oh
knocks wind
wow.
off of his mount with the resist talent. It does double damage to the enemy's base if they're not putting enough pressure on you, so you can get big, like massive amounts of damage on their base while also clearing bits of their lane. But generally in this map, because it's so narrow, you're able to hit so many things at the same time and clear them and also deal a little bit of damage to your opponent's base. So currently the very top end meta is using deep breath to get the health advantage on the enemy's base and then spending the rest of your units to control all of those choke points and then just win in overtime. And this
Yep.
spell is very good at clearing the map and doing exactly that and doing damage to the base. It's crazy.
Yep. I think it should get nerfed, but I mean,
See, I
you don't?
I well, I don't know because it wasn't good enough on the last map. You weren't running it in every single deck. It was ran in a couple decks, like a Jaina build, and some of the like really big whales that have it at level 10 already were playing it in some of their decks, but it wasn't seen in all like every single person in the top 50's decks. The reason it's so good here is because it can hit the entire map, and the lanes are so narrow that if it hits a lane, it's just going to hit everything in it.
Well,
Um,
I think it should be more of like a change in general to all spells. I think the whole thing of like cycling spells in overtime meta. I mean, or maybe that's a problem with the tower. There's so many ways to tackle this issue, but I think they need to do something for that because we're gonna get into some other spells, but it happens like 2 out of 3 games that we win in overtime with some spell spam we're playing, and there's so many different spell cycle lists right now.
hmm And I could absolutely be wrong. It could be completely overtuned and needs a nerf. It's just weird to me that it's just very good on this map and it wasn't super good on the last one. But definitely on this map, if you run into a player that has deep breath and you don't, it's the most miserable feeling in the world.
Yeah.
So
Well,
something
there,
definitely needs to change.
yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll jump Dark Iron Miner.
Do you want to talk about it or you want me to?
I'm gonna. Okay, sure. I'll go. I think it's great. I don't think it's God because I think, or S tier. I don't think it's S tier because there's a lot of way of countering it, and there's a lot of, and when you do counter it, like for example with a quill board, there's nothing really to do. So the thing is, it's like a meta defining unit right now because you have to play it or play against it or counter it. I feel like. So but there's good ways of countering it. There's also like all of those fast units that can get to the middle lane and all of that. So yeah, I think it's A tier. I thought it was S tier at the start of the season, but I think there's a lot of different way of countering it. So A tier. Do you agree?
I agree 100% with you. I think it's very good. I don't think it's an auto include in everything. Currently, of the four decks that I'm playing on ladder, I only played in two of them. like you said, there's great ways to counter it, and it's just not
Yeah.
entirely necessary.
All right. Well, Chain Lightning, take it away.
Oh man, see at the start of the season, everyone was so excited about mining harpies, and I was like, yes, Chain Lightning, it's gonna be so good. Chain Lightning feels miserable right now. Nobody's actually playing harpies, and even if they are, they're really easily killed with Blizzard, which is just so much better. And generally, you can get other things in the Blizzard, whether it's their base or other units, so you get gold value from killing the harpies and other things with it. And Chain Lightning just really doesn't have that big of a spot. I know that people are using it to counter some sapper lists. I personally don't think sappers are very good right now. A lot of people are jamming them with smoke bomb and chain lightning, or not chain lightning, cheat death. Um, and spells like polymorph and blizzard are just so good right now that if they throw cheat death on their sappers, that's already 5 gold. If you blizzard it, you're fine. You're netting gold anyway, but generally you're able to get something else in the blizzard uh, to get more gold value out of it. So I think they're good to catch people off guard, but then once your opponent knows you have sappers, it doesn't do anything for them. So I think those are the two cases that Chain Lightning has for this meta, but I don't think many people are playing those things, so it's not very good in my opinion right now. I would put it in B tier.
That's interesting. I would have put it in bottom of A. I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm playing Chain Lightning in so many lists actually, but it's true that like at the start of the season people were running Whelp eggs a little bit more, but then Chain Lightning was prominent at the start of the season because of that. But I usually play Chain Lightning. Also, yeah, deal with the sappers like you mentioned, deal with the Whelp eggs. But once again, the Chain Lightning with the stun, I feel, is also very useful in a lot of circumstances to like reset some aggro. Also, I use Chain Lightning in my main list, which is my Cairn Dark Spiritual type list, with which I also run Sapper in. And to protect my Dark Spiritual from a safe pilot, I feel like Chain Lightning is fantastic because it stuns the safe pilot, and then the Dark Patrol is going to take care of that safe, and everyone's running safe pilot. So I'm seeing a lot of play in my list for that safe pilot with Dark Patrol in that Cairn list. But once again, I guess Arcane Blast can do that in a better way. Or if you don't play Chain Lightning, I guess you have to safe pilot the opponent's safe pilot. So there's other options. I would have placed it bottom of A tier, but if you want to leave it in B tier, we could.
I'm good with bottom of A tier. I think you made some good cases for it. I think it has a little more utility than I may have initially thought.
Okay, cool. So. All right, awesome. And if we see that like the A tier becomes too stacked, we'll drop it to B tier. I'm fine with that. Okay, Bat Rider. Let's try to pick up the pace a little bit.
Okay,
Bat Rider.
We'll go clear. I think this one's in PvP. I think it's bad. It's not great. It's a 2 gold cycle unit, but you have way better 2 gold or even cheaper units than that. I would probably put it, probably between those units or maybe even at the bottom. He just doesn't do enough. He only hits ground units.
I agree.
I mean, there's not a lot of flyers in the meta, but he's just not very good.
I agree. 100%. Blizzard, S tier?
Ooh.
Or A tier?
Yeah, no, it's probably S tier. I think everybody should be running it if they don't have deep breath. Yeah. So it's really good right now. It just once again, the lanes are so narrow, and with dragon towers, you can freeze things basically at your base, so they take max damage from the dragon tower, and then they just get melted.
Yeah, and also like I'm seeing some Jaina list that runs execute, Blizzard or Deep Breath Blizzard, or even sometimes all 3 of them, which is nuts.
Yep.
So yeah, Firehammer.
I think it's just bottom of B tier, maybe top of C. It's 4 gold's a big investment for it, but it does decent damage if it gets going. But yeah, it's not great. What do you think?
I think it's actually like even under the Chimera, in my opinion. I think it's here. But I mean, all of these, because if I look at the C tier, I actually played Chimera more than any of these 4 units.
Yeah.
But maybe
Okay.
that's just because Chimera is new. But yeah, that's, I don't know. Have you ran a list with any of these 4 units recently?
Not on this map, unfortunately.
So,
So I will take your opinion, and if you want to put him higher or lower, I'm totally good with that because I
well,
don't play a lot of
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm also fine. I don't think I've seen a Firehammer, and I don't think I've played Firehammer as well. So it's hard to me to judge. But if it's not played anywhere, I'm guessing it's probably here. I think
Yeah.
that's fair. Okay, the Ghoul.
I think Ghoul's okay. I think he's like top of B tier,
Yep.
maybe low A tier, but he's just super tanky right now. Especially if you can just like there. I've had some scenarios where a Ghoul gets to my base and tanks the Dragon Tower forever because he happens to kill somebody just inside its range and then just starts eating the corpse and just stands there forever and doesn't die. It's pretty obnoxious and he can get pretty tanky in some scenarios.
Yeah, no, that's true. Do you play it in your Sylvanas list? I think you sent me a Sylvanas list
Um,
recently,
I
or
have played it
you
a
did
little
a
bit.
video, right?
I haven't done a video yet.
Okay.
I sent you the list, but I played him a little bit in my Baron list, which is one of my top 4 leaders, and I played him in my Sylvanas list as well.
Okay. You know what? I'm fine with. So, top of B or bottom of A? Which one do you want to go
But
for?
let's put him top of B.
Okay. Flame Waker. Once again, I feel like he's one of the units that deserves to be here. I mean, you would think that the narrow lanes would make it better for him, but I'm still not seeing any play. Quillbore still exists. Air unit still exists. So, yeah, I think he's not played at all.
Yeah, I think I ran into him once, and it was I enjoyed seeing him. So
Did it work well or?
no, I enjoyed seeing it because it was an easy win.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, makes sense. All right. Next up, and this one's an interesting one. The Defies Bandits.
Ooh, I'm excited. This one's
So,
A tier for sure.
oh, okay. A tier.
I think so. I think he's probably between Chain Lightning and Dark Iron Miner, or maybe even above Dark Iron Miner. He's a 1 gold cycle unit that gets you back to what you want to be playing. He stuns something in front of your base. So like a Baron, a Dracasath, a Huntress, something like that. He can stun a safe pilot, especially since a lot of people are running coming in hot. You don't have to wait for them to unstealth, especially if your base is already being tanked by a Quillbore, and then they'll kill it. They're just absolutely fantastic. I love him.
I
I play him, I think, in a couple of my lists.
I haven't played Defies Bandit much, but I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna take your word for it at least. It's probably worse than last season because we don't have chests, but it's still so good because that stun, because of that one cycle, one gold cost. All right, Huntress. I'm gonna. I know you just did Defies Bandit, but I want your take on the Huntress again.
Ooh, so I was playing this in my Tyrion list, but right now it is just so expensive. There's not as much like on-demand gold like before since we're missing treasure chests. I think this one's probably the very top of B tier, if not the bottom of A tier. Um, I played it for a while. It's great to get a little bit of damage and tank your opponent's Dragon Tower. It kills a bunch of things out of stealth, which is really solid. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I want to be cycling back to my spells right now, and it does not help me do that. So it's probably somewhere at the bottom of A or low or high B.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it bottom of A, I think, and we'll see. Maybe it will go down. We'll see. Earth Elemental. I mean, I guess I keep falling on the on the bad ones. Earth Elemental. I'm gonna have to put in bad again. Probably here once again. I don't think. You know what? I think Abomination probably deserves to be above all 3 of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think honestly, I probably think Firehammer, Flamewaker, Earth Elemental are all below Gargoyle too. They're just not great.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So Earth Elemental gets destroyed by the current towers. It might be better with the next towers right now. Pretty useless. Yeah. What's his name? The Fire Elemental.
I think he is okay. I've seen him played in a couple of builds with like Tyrion. Since he's naturally resistant, he's good against the towers. He's good against safe pilot. He's good at knocking things out of stealth before they get to him because of his immolation aura.
Yep.
He's just super. He's niche, but he's good when he's good. So I think he's probably somewhere in B tier, maybe above Drake, between him and Holy Nova.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm gonna take execute. I think execute is pretty high. I would go. It depends because like in some lists, execute is great, but I think Blizzard obviously is not as good as Blizzard. I think it like A tier between maybe here. Do you?
I think I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty solid. So right now it feels like people who have deep breath are using deep breath as an execute, because you can
Yeah.
get the double damage on the base, so it does about the same. But when you don't have deep breath, it's so good just to cycle back to and spam on your opponent's base. It's your win condition, and there's not really anything your opponent can do about it. So I think it's A tier for sure.
I think actually I would put chain lightning just above it. I, would you agree with that? Because my reasoning is that execute is great in the lists like that cycles execute, but in like most of all the other lists, you're never running. So I think like chain lightning has more play, but less effective in those extreme cases, but has more versatility. But I
Yeah,
mean,
I think I agree with that. Chain Lightning fits in more decks than Execute does, but the deck that runs Execute's amazing.
okay, perfect. Then the Angry Chicken Army.
I'll let you take that one. You like those
Oh,
guys a lot more than I do.
I mean, yeah. Well, I just did that list. We just talked about the with I think the Angry Chicken Army are much better than I thought, and you are not playing them as like as a damage dealer that much, or the way you're doing it is you're playing it as so you play everything on the left in a hogger in a beast list, and you play the Angry Chicken Army with sacrifice, and so once the hogger pushes and crosses the bridge, you play your Angry Chicken Army on the right tower, and the hogger will heal back to full health with like a prowler, and plus if you also got value, you could like defend because Angry Chicken Army can shred, right? It can shred some units. So if something is pushing your base, you can completely destroy that whole push, and then you just heal your units before the start of the push. So I think it's not. I honestly, I think it's better than Chimera. I think it goes like in okay at least.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I would.
That's my
Man,
hot take. But you guys, go
I'll
check my Hogger Beast video. There's some unique cases where I think Angry Chicken Army is much better. Also, it's a bait for like safe pilot and chain lightning and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
You were gonna say?
I was gonna say I don't know if I necessarily agree with B tier. However, I know you like them a lot. I'm willing to put them bottom of B tier. I think the sacrifice talent is awesome in certain decks. Outside of that, with flame towers, I probably don't have a ton of use right now, but we'll
Yeah.
leave them B tier.
Well, exactly. The flame towers just destroy the Angry Chicken Army. But there's also a play where you play the Angry Chicken Army, and once they do arrive to the base, you play your Quillbore on the left, right? So he kind of has to address it. And sometimes you can catch them by surprise when they're like out of gold, because it's only like 2 extra gold to play your Quillbore. So you defend with your Angry Chicken Army, and then. But yeah, for honestly, I would play Angry Chicken Army more than any of these units, I think.
Absolutely, keep them B tier. I'm okay with that.
I'm curious to see the comments. Guys, comment down below if you guys do agree, but make sure to go check my video first and then tell me. Molten Giant.
Put him in D tier. I hate Molten Giant. He is so bad. He's too expensive. He doesn't do anything. He's really slow, which means he's going to just die to the Dragon Towers pretty quickly. Not great. Don't play him. He's awful.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's like much worse than any of these ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think so.
Flame Waker is probably the worst. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. He's probably bottom of C tier.
Okay, Pyromancer. I guess it's my turn. I've actually haven't yet played the Pyromancer. I think overall it's not a bad unit because of the fact that it's 3 gold. There's just, I think, units that do a better job right now, and especially because there's everyone has resistant because of the dragon towers. So I think it would go bottom of B. But once again, it's like a bottom of B, but that's never played because like Dark Patrol exists and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's good against like Tyrion and Footmen, stuff like that. Do you agree?
Yeah, I actually agree. He's the problem with it right now is that it's just so squishy, and once again the lanes are so narrow that generally the AOE is gonna hit it.
Yeah.
It does good damage, but it's generally gonna die before you can do anything with it. But yeah, I agree. Bottom B tier.
Okay, Harvest Golem.
I love Harvest Golem. I think he's A tier right now. I would put him above Huntress. Actually, I'd put him above Execute. He is, man. So the reason he is so good is because you can use him, drop him in the middle, like where your base splits off to either lane. You can drop him in the middle and tank both sides coming in. He'll grab aggro and everything, and then he dies. And with the stun talent, he stuns everything for 3 seconds, even flyers. So he's gonna die, stun them, and then come back to life and start tanking them again, and then stun them again for 3 seconds. That gives you so much time to generate gold to respond to what they're doing if your Dragon Tower hasn't already killed all of those things, because they're being tanked right in front of the tower. He's just way better than I ever thought he could be right now because of how narrow everything is. I love him. He's great.
Yeah, so I haven't actually played that list, but I think it's like in a those Jaina cycle lists, right? That it's the most played because you can defend really well and then cycle your spells. Yeah, that's like a new pick, right? In last season, it wasn't really good, and like even the start of this season, the first week, it wasn't played much, but now I'm seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, there were a couple really early adapters of Harvest Golem that played it the first week. I actually picked this tip up from Fieldsy. He's a really good player, generally #1 on the ladder. And yeah, played it, tried it. I love it. I play it in 2 of my 4 decks, and the only reason I don't play it in my Tyrion deck is because Tyrion pretty much acts as the same role since he bubbles and is immune for a while. So
yeah, that's fair. Frostle Shaman. I'm gonna put her, I think, right here next to the Ghoul. I think she's fairly solid in those, like obviously Drakisath Death Ball build. That armor talent that gives armor. I think it's what Earth Shield it's called. That's a great talent. That's a fantastic talent. I think it's always gonna see play in some way because of that talent. It's so unique, giving armor to a meanie. But yeah, with like Drakisath, I think the Frostle Shaman's great. Ghoul's also good. So perhaps these two would bump up. I don't know. I think yeah, but right now I think that's where I would place her.
I agree. She's pretty niche. She's really good in Drakisath. There are also players at the very, very top end that are running her with the totem that heals your base because it wins the Jaina Deep Breath race. But that's kind of what she's used for.
That's interesting. Is it noticeable, the healing to the tower?
No, but it's enough that you'll win the race against Jaina.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's not great outside of that matchup. It just gives you like that extra spell that you can play ahead of them. So,
all right, the Gnoll Brute.
I actually think this is. I don't think he's unplayable, but I still think he's bad. He's just not amazing. He's probably like between Chimera and, or maybe between A-Bomb and the Gargoyle, just because he has the frontal cleave attack and lanes are so narrow that I think he might have more use than I am giving him credit for. So that's where I would place him. I don't think he's unplayable, but I'm not trying him.
It's just like if you compare it to like the Harvest Golem, it's tough. It's tough to justify his 3 gold cost, right? Well, obviously you can reduce it to 2 with the talent, but still. But yeah, if you're starting off a new account and you have a good Gnoll Brute, I don't think it's a bad unit by any means. I mean, in PvP it is, but in PvE at least it's fine. I just don't think it's as bad as. It's just like there's better units that do the same job. That's the way I'm seeing it, and like a lot of them.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, so sappers, I'll take him, and then you'll completely counter what I'm gonna say. I think I think they're great, bottom of great. However, people still don't know how to use them. People play sappers. They have their combo. They play sapper cheat death, and the way I play sappers is I play sappers when I know my opponent's out of gold. So I'm trying to force some positive trades, controlling the middle. Then I have the goal, and that's when I drop my sappers, and I don't play anything on him. I don't play anything on him. I just play the sappers, and yeah, that's how. And like it's not like the way I play sappers. I don't play it as my main win condition. I think everyone's running it as their main win condition. I think it doesn't need to be, or should it be, the main win condition. You should have it like getting a single volley of sappers on your opponent makes them so afraid of sappers, and then they can't play their safe. They can't play their chain lightning because they need, or blizzard, or at least they have to keep one of the spells in their hand at all time for the sappers. And then just like you played it once, maybe you got 1 or 2 in, and then you just don't play it again, and your opponent will never play his spell. And then if he does play his spell, then you go for the sappers. So I think it's good. I don't think the cheat death combo is that great because of that polymorph thing. And once again, if you don't play anything with the sappers and your opponent plays polymorph, well, that's good. That's a positive trade for you, or equal if he has a talent. But I think you believe it's worse than that.
So I just think it's okay. I'm good with conceding it as great. I know a lot of people are playing them. Even people in my guild are playing them, and I'm just like, what are you guys doing? But I don't know. So many people use them as their main win condition. So I really like that you pointed out that you don't do that. It's just like it is a threat, and if you don't decide to deal with it, it will kill you. But it's not how that's not how I plan on killing you. The issue with playing them as your main win condition, though, is once you know how to counter them, they're going to be countered for the rest of the game. Like you just and. I'm okay with them being at the bottom of A tier.
But maybe we put Ghoul here. How do you feel about that?
I like that. I could respect that.
Because like I think that's fair. Yeah. Okay, Dark Patrol.
Great. It doesn't die to Dragon Towers with the Regen talent. We'll put him in A tier, probably between Execute and Huntress, or maybe Huntress and Ghoul. I think he's really good in Cairnless just because he, like you said, he lives through Safe Pilot. It's really, really solid. Just having that 3 gold range threat, if it ever gets to a tower, they have to do something about it or it will kill the tower by itself. So just having that 3 gold threat that does something like that and puts up that much pressure is super solid. I don't personally play it because there are too many things in high ELO that will kill it, like Deep Breath. But I do think he's very good as long as you're not playing against Deep Breath.
I think I would have placed it higher, but now that I'm hearing you talk, I'm gonna have to agree to put it. I would have placed it maybe higher here, but the only real deck that I'm playing it in is in that Cairn list because of the fact that it survived to Safe Pilot, but it dies to Deep Breath, Safe Pilot. Does it die to Blizzard? I'm not sure about the interaction because it's hard to tell the level of Blizzard. So I'm not sure if like an equal level Blizzard does kill the Dark Patrol.
I've not actually come across that interaction, to be honest, so I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, sometimes it survives, sometimes it doesn't. With the Big Bad Voodoo talent, obviously, but I don't know the opponent's level, so I would have to try it like on the level capped deck. But even then, you don't know. Maybe like he has a Blizzard level 4 while yours is 5, or it's hard to tell. But yeah, okay. So I think it's better than Huntress, though. Much better than Huntress. And yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think so. Footmen. They are on this map. I love Footmen. 2 of my top builds last season had Footmen in them. Right now, I think they're absolutely unplayable. They're so bad. Just because of how narrow the lane is, you can't really like they're just gonna get hit by everything. And I know they're a group and they get hit by everything normally, but the combination of like Deep Breath being in the meta, Blizzard being in the meta, the Dragon Towers, like you can play Tyrion and Holy Nova and try and keep them alive as much as you want, but they're just awful. I do not want to be wasting my gold investing in my other 5 gold unit to get to their base and maybe do a little damage. It's just awful.
Yeah. And like they're so slow. Like if you start a push, you're kind of gambling everything on it, and then they just take it out, and you're like, oh, okay, well, there's what a minute left. I don't have time to do another push. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Meat Wagon. I think it goes in okay. I think it's better than it used to be. Probably under Holy Nova.
I I agree with that.
Yeah. Above or under Fire Elemental?
I I'd probably say above. It's pretty solid for controlling the middle. Honestly, had I every time I see it in a deck, it doesn't scare me, but it does make me like cognizant that I have to be able to deal with it because it's just going to sit there and
Yeah.
throw things at the middle. And
But then they're
yeah.
safe again. Safe exists. You know what? Can I put
Yeah.
safe in S tier?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, because I mean, we keep talking about safe all the time. Prowler, go ahead, Prowler.
I think he's okay. He's probably above Shaman. He's probably still at the top of B tier. He is fast, so he gives support. But the reason he was so good in the last meta is because he got to the treasure chest in the middle very quickly. He
Yeah.
claimed them. He was a counter to Huntress. Huntress isn't being played as much anymore, so
Yeah.
he loses kind of that dual purpose. He's still a good unit. He's just not amazing currently.
Yeah, if you look at all the units that are on top right now, like yes, he does counter the Huntress and the Dark Patrol, which is good, but like all the other units really aren't countered by the Prowler, so I think that's fair. Raptors, is it my turn?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, unplayable, I think. I think-
Yeah, I'd agree. Just with like the lanes being narrow and
Yeah, and I think
Flame
it's
towers.
maybe better than Tyrion, but we're splitting hairs at this point.
yeah.
Cheat Death.
Oh God, I think it's bad, honestly.
It's too
Um,
expensive.
Well, it's not that it's too expensive. It's just that what you're doing with it is like, especially if you're doing it with sappers. This is just an example. You can use it elsewhere, but there's not a whole lot of other use. If you're spending 3 gold on top of your 2 gold, and they still somehow manage to deal with it, it's just so much of a loss. Like it clogs up a spot in your hand that you're not doing anything with unless you're comboing it with what you like have specifically put it in your deck for, and most of the time you just lose value with it, unfortunately.
I would like to see Cheat Death as like a shorter duration, but for two gold, and then that would be like you would have to perfectly time it. You could get some good value, but then, yeah, I don't know. Plate Farmer. I think it's okay. I think the extra range attacking the middle, I think it's better than like all of these things that are in the. I'm gonna put it like bottom of B tier, probably just above chickens. I think it's good. Like in some Baron lists, there's some slots, some undead slots, and I think it can fit there. And so,
Yeah.
you agree?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, I play it in my Baron list. I swap it in and out, kind of how depending on how I'm feeling. But I think he's probably close to probably where Meat Wagon is. Honestly, I know it's just
Yeah.
like splitting hairs at this point, but he does belong somewhere in the B tier. I think he's good.
You know what? I think I like it more than Meat Wagon.
Okay.
So, okay, Whelp Eggs.
They are probably the bottom of A tier or somewhere. No, they're probably better than Huntress. I think they're good at clogging up the middle, good at what they've always been good at, which is dropping them in front of a melee unit or a group of enemies and having Flame Burst go off and killing them while you keep Whelps on the battlefield. Whelps themselves are not great against Dragon Towers unless you distract the Dragon Tower. They just have such a short range that if they're there by themselves, they don't do a whole lot.
Yep. And they're kind of like a safe pilot in the sense that you can one-shot some stuff very easily.
Yeah.
Ogre Mage. I think it's too expensive. I think it goes above Abomination, I guess, or under, just here in bad.
Yeah, I've seen it in some Dracasath lists, but every time I see it, I'm pretty happy seeing it. So they'll play like Dracasath Shaman, and then when it crosses over the middle, and they'll drop a Ogre Mage on their, I guess, their right tower to support it, and then it just kind of makes me happy because I know there is 14 gold worth of units coming towards my base that I'm getting ready to polymorph and Blizzard, or just like tank them with my Harvest Golem and drop a bunch of support for it. So
Yep.
just too expensive for what it does, honestly.
Yep. So I guess Polymorph, perfect segue.
Yeah, I before I thought that this spell on the last map was probably okay or bad, but I've really enjoyed it in my Murkai list this time around. It's amazing at countering Dracasath. It's good in, it's good to counter all of the Sapper lists. You can time it to where it polymorphs the Sappers as they're charging to your base, so they'll actually die from the Flame Towers. It's great for large groups of enemies, which you get because all of these like funnily choke points on this map. I think it's fantastic. So
I
yeah,
placed
somewhere
it
in A tier.
under Dark Patrol.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair.
Okay. Quillbore, S, I think, still S.
Yes, absolutely S tier.
Counters the Dark Miner so well and defeats everything else, distracts, tank, resist. I mean, I think we are good here. It's OP.
And
Yeah.
his bristleback talent, for those who don't know, is currently bugged. For whatever reason, it affects Baron mages, so you can just drop him like down the left lane as Baron skeletal mages are coming at you, and they'll start attacking him, and it procs off of their ranged attack for whatever reason. I don't know if the game sees that as a melee attack since they're originally melee skeletons, but for whatever reason, he does damage to him.
I didn't know that. Well, okay. Makes it even better.
Yep.
Arcane Blast.
Man, I think this is just okay. I know there are a lot of good YouTubers that I think specifically Mr. Brute runs this in some of his lists. I think it has some very niche uses. And it's probably maybe between Meat Wagon and Fire Elemental. I just don't like it. I think it's great in like a Thalnos list that's trying to level him up, but it's just
Well,
I
it's
don't
a
know.
stealth
It doesn't
proc.
do enough. It is a stealth procker, but I feel like because the map is so narrow that if you want to or proc stealth in this map, there are other ways you could do it
Mm-hmm.
with having more useful spells in your deck. But I recognize some people think it's good. I just don't play it. I think it's probably just good.
I think. Well,
Not
that's
great.
still. That's still good. I think. I think the OK tier is still playable, right? So. I think,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm gonna do like a kind of like a quick round of unplayable. I think Mountaineer is unplayable. I think
Absolutely.
Flame. What's it? What's it called?
Living
Flaming
Bomb,
Soul. Living
unplayable.
Bomb. I think as well. The War Song Raider is probably unplayable.
Oh, not my baby, but
Maybe
yeah.
it's bad. I don't know.
Put it at bottom of bad for me.
Bottom of bad. Okay, Core Hounds.
Oh, let's leave them down here. We'll talk about them here in a minute.
Okay.
Put
Smoke
Warsong
Bomb.
Grunts up there though.
Warsong. Oh, yeah. Warsong Grunts. Vultures as well. Well, actually, at least they cycle a little bit.
Yeah, they cycle pretty well. I just watched a video someone posted in my guild of them making a Charlga cycle deck with them and just absolutely destroying people. And
Okay.
I'm actually excited to try it.
Okay.
Spiders are unplayable. Get spiders in that category.
Yeah.
They're so awful.
And,
Okay.
Okay, Warsong Raider. You didn't want me to play. I think it's bad right now. It's very bad right now.
It's bad right now. She's just my baby. I love that unit so much. She helped me so much through the Onyxia encounter, and she's great.
Oh,
yeah. So the reason
Sneed
she's good, yeah, Sneed's not
horrible.
great right now. And I guess this is a PvP tier list, so put her in unplayable.
I'll play it top of unplayable.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Do you
Okay,
have
we'll
something
still
else to add?
no, she's fine. Well, maybe we'll do an Onyxia video later, and I'll talk about why I think she's so good for that
Unaccept
fight.
tier list.
Hmm. Let's rapid fire through
Yeah.
the rest of them too. So vultures, I think, are probably okay. I haven't actually tested them out. I've just seen videos of them being played. So they're like bottom B, high C. They're really just there to cycle and get back to what you actually want to play because they're 1 gold.
I see. I guess. I yeah, and I
They're
guess
they're they're still a threat, which is good. They kill Dark Iron Miners. They don't proc their mines. They kill Quillbore.
that's true.
Just
That's true. Those are
all
all
of
good
these
great points. Yeah.
all of these, and like they're a 1 gold unit that you have to respond to if you want your sappers to get by them. So
Yeah.
it's just weird how good they are against specific things.
Fair enough. So you want to talk about smoke bomb?
um Sure, I think the spell is okay. It's good in my list to reset her Phantom Knives. You use them on sappers to get them past things, which is like, I think it's kind of a trap. Um, if people don't know how to play against it, it's gonna work. If they do know how to play against it, you're just wasting more gold on your sappers. Um, so I think it's okay.
Okay, let's rapid fire through all the ones that are not interesting. So I'll keep the interesting ones here. Let's go, and then okay, Banshee.
Uh, Bottom of B, she's okay. I mean, you're not ever. Everybody's playing super cheap cycle decks that run spells, so you're never ever really getting good value out of her.
Necromancer.
Uh, Probably mid B, maybe towards the bottom. He is good, but once again, people are running things like Blizzard. He's really slow. Um, Safe Pilot kills him. It's just
Yeah.
hard for him to exist in this meta.
All right, Worgen.
Also good. He counters a couple of cool things like Troll, especially with his ambush talent. He's good at picking off like meat wagons or pyromancers or shamans or things of that nature. But
I think like
once
here,
again,
maybe
yeah, he's
here,
probably mid B tier. He's not amazing.
and then
Skeleton
Skeleton.
Party is bad. I've seen a couple of people play them like with the like guard talent where they just sit there in the middle to defend and they just die to a safe pilot.
Yep.
Not great.
I
Go
mean
ahead.
here.
Yeah.
And then skeletons. Skeletons were better when we were fighting for chess because they could beat Dark Iron Miners. But now I'm not seeing any play. They get wrecked completely. I would probably go with bad as well.
Yeah, probably. Probably towards the top-ish. Yeah, probably there's great, but not amazing.
I honestly think like Chimera is better than all the units that are under. It's kind of like my baseline in the bad tier.
All right. Core Hounds is really fun. Have you
Yeah.
ran into anyone playing Core Hounds yet?
So I ran into a core hound, and I think I got smacked, but I played against someone that was over leveled, so it's hard for me to judge because I'm like at that point where I'm like level 8, but I'm starting to play against level 9 and 10s. At that like 3700, and yeah, I don't know. I've been completely destroyed by some level 10 core hounds. So it's hard to me to tell if it was the core hounds or if it. But the eternal, I think it's eternal bond, right? Talent is pretty good because the lanes are so separate, and one is gonna go so much quicker forward than the other one, and they're gonna keep rezzing each other. It's so hard to deal with. And your right core hound will stay protected for so long as it walks past your dragon, your second dragon tower, that that combo stays alive for a long time. But other than that, I haven't tried them myself yet. I have them in Epic, so I should maybe. Give me your thoughts. Are they good? I'm expecting that's what you're going for.
I actually have no idea. So I have not tried them myself. I have the talent, but they're like level 7 maybe. So I haven't tested it out, but I have played against them a handful of times. And I watch streamers like Bulaba struggling against them. but I have never lost to one yet. I don't know if it's because Blizzard is so good against them. So they're really slow and lumbering, and the issue is that they will eventually meet back up towards the center of your base, and generally the uh, the opponent is playing more things to support them, and then you just kind of hit them with a blizzard and a little more support, and then they die at the same time. Also, I run Defias Bandits in my build, which is really good at stunning them out of their resurrection for 1 gold.
Yeah.
Blizzard also stuns them out of their resurrection. There's just so many ways to
Chain
stop it
lightning.
right now. Yeah, chain lightning. I think there's a lot of ways to stop the resurrection right now, and while it does apply a little bit of pressure, it's just not as good as what spell cycling is currently. So maybe if you are not in like the top percent of players that are like just cycling spells, then core hounds are probably really difficult to deal with. But once you get up there, I think they're just kind of more cute than anything. I would put them in the okay tier though. I think they're
Yeah,
probably
I
pretty
think
good.
that's what I was gonna say. It's much better than everything on the bad tier.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it
I think it's pretty mid pack, probably between Arcane Blast and Meat Wagon maybe.
here. I think maybe I love the angry chicken more than the banshee, but
I'd accept it. I think that's perfectly fine.
like that.
Yeah. Well, I even think you put the chickens above the Banshee.
Okay, I really think, but like it's maybe recency biased as well. But I'm seeing much more play. Well, I think there's more play with that sacrifice talent. Anyway, I don't want to go back to the angry chicken. The Murlocs, I think, and I think they're great. I think they're so great. I think they're still fantastic. I think they're better than Dark Patrol. I think they're better than the Whelp Eggs. I think they're like somewhere here.
Yeah, I can see it. They're great cycle units that provide range support, help
And
you
I
get
think
back
all
to
the talents are great
things.
as well. The
Yeah.
range is good if you want to have some range on the middle base. The Morlocks allows you to have 2 push, and sometimes just having a single Murloc go in the middle against that Dark Iron Miner helps a lot. The Bear Bubbles is really good to deal with Griffin Riders and all of those other stuff. Yeah, and I guess Griffin Rider. Do you want to take it away?
I think Griffin Rider is top of A tier.
Yep.
Either at the very top or between Dark Iron Miner and Defias Bandits. The plus range talent just makes it amazing. It trades into so many things. It provides excellent support for 2 gold. It helps you cycle back to what you actually want to be playing while being key at defending your base. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. And then Stone of Tauren.
I have not played a lot of Stonehoof Torn, so I'll let you take that one.
So I'm playing Stone of Tauren in my old Murkai list right now, and it's actually Tic Tac's list. It's good to deal with a lot of different stuff, such as like obviously like the Huntress and all those different single target meaty. It's good for like sometimes your opponent plays a Quillboard to distract, and then your Stone of Tauren just charge on it. I love the Stone of Tauren to protect the miner as well, because once again, like people are trying to spawn something on the miner, and then the Stone of Tauren just decides to steal the aggro. I think it's probably top of B, or I think top of B is fair here.
I think that's a fair point. I have actually never even played this unit.
Really?
I don't think I've put it in any deck, not in PvE, not in PvP. It's just something that I haven't done yet. It's not leveled up.
I think all of those charge minis, such as Stonehoof and Prowler, are good with the right base, because you can play them and they will like charge over the bridge really quickly. So it's you can get them into battle much quicker. But the overall meta doesn't favor them too much. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then Harpies, you touched on them earlier.
I think they're okay. It's a lot to invest, especially if you're running the mining talent. If they get to a mine node, they will take it and it will be quick. But generally, Chain Lightning is going to counter it. Blizzard counters it. Griffin counters it. Safe Pilot counters it. A lot counters it.
Even Holy Nova.
Even Holy Nova, yeah. So probably bottom of okay. Man,
Bottom
probably
of
above
okay.
the Drake. Probably above the Drake. I'll put it above the Drake. I don't think they're very good.
I would put it like here.
I'm okay with that. That's kind of splitting hairs anyway.
Yeah.
But I just don't like him currently.
Yeah. Do we have anything we want to change? I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah.
I think so too. There are a couple of units on the bottom of bad tier that are maybe unplayable. Looking
Such
at
as
it now,
let's do it. Firehammer.
okay. I still think
Blightwaker?
Firehammer's okay. I think Earth Elemental is really bad right now. Just with Dragon Towers and like, do you really want to spend your 3 gold to distract a 2 gold unit they played and not even kill it? It's pretty rough. Flame Waker's really bad. Bat Rider is maybe probably stay in bad tier. I think that's all the adjustments I wanted to do.
I think that's fair. And plus, like, we have quite a good amount of units in every single tier. Yeah, I think that's you know what's like. I think Dark Iron Miner is a perfect example of good balance, because like right now it's top of A, very good unit, but I don't think I've heard anyone say that it should get nerfed, not once.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's really good, but he's not required, which is the best part. You don't need him.
And I think that's exactly. I think these 4 actually might deserve. So you know what? I think Safe and Quillbore goes above Blizzard. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think Blizzard. Oh yeah, I think so too. I think Blizzard is really good, and I think Blizzard might be another example of a Dark Iron Miner unit who is not everybody is playing it, and it's only really good because of how the map right now is designed. The other 3 at the top, I did say that Dragon Breath may only be good because of the narrow lanes and how things all group up, but at the same time, it feels really bad to play against it, so maybe that's wrong. I think Blizzard does a pretty well balanced spell, pretty good example of what we're looking for.
And I think Murlocs are better than Execute. I think they're better than Harvest Golem as well.
Don't do that to me.
No? All right. I'll take the Execute. I'll take the Execute. I think are we good here?
I think so. I think that looks solid.
We're good. Guys, make sure to tell us down below your thoughts. I think I like having you here on the channel to help me do these tier lists. I think we can get like a better assessment of it, having different point of views, and not letting our bias. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, make sure to go check the Arclight Battery. He does awesome content, and I think we pretty much talk daily at this point. Yeah, so we're probably going to do more content down the line. Go check him out. This was a lot of fun, and I think we'll end it here. We have the Dragon Towers that are dropping fairly soon, right? End of this week.
Yep. Should be a week from tomorrow.
So yeah, a week from tomorrow we are gonna get the Rocket Towers, which is gonna change up the meta quite a bit. It's still elemental damage. I think everyone has been telling me the Rocket Towers are elemental damage. So we still are probably not going to see footmans and stuff like that, but we might see some other units. What's interesting to me from this tier list is that we can see that it's the spell season. Everyone's running spells. I'm seeing some lists run 3 different spells, and there's like 9 spells in this game. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Arclight Battery, for being here once again. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and bye, guys.
Bye.